X-Men 1 was always a very difficult challenge because there were so many characters to introduce to a wide audience, not only an audience that had been fans of the X-Men universe, but also an audience that wasn't familiar with them. And you needed all kinds of exposition, and there was a lot of limitations in the production. And I felt very much like I was making kind of half a movie, like I was making a trailer for a larger movie. And the opportunity to make X-Men 2, or X2, as it were, is an opportunity to make a real X-Men movie. And that's what I was excited about. Ultimately, I'm not a big fan of the phrase sequel, particularly with these kinds of films. X-Men universe is like, in the film world, is like the comic world. You tell a story, and then the story evolves and progresses forward. The word saga, I guess, comes more to mind, and this picture would be part 2 in a saga. The screenwriting process of both films was very similar. I basically sit down with writers, collaborators, and I kind of indicate the story that I'm interested in telling, characters that I want to use, and we craft a story or treatment, and then from that work with writers to develop a screenplay.
I think we started probably about 4 or 5 months after the first one had come out. On the script for the second movie. And when you approach a sequel to a successful movie, this is what Robert Zemeckis said about Back to the Future, you know, the audience wants basically the same movie but different. So I tried to think of a way we could turn everybody's actions on their head for the second film. So we really did attempt to give it the same world, give it the same sort of course of mutant action, but have it all turn out in ways that nobody ever would have expected. And I think everybody involved was a little concerned that it might be too, you know, cerebral or too dark, too serious. But I think, you know, the fun factor was there as well, and the action was there, and the actors were so great. And I think people appreciated the fact that we were taking it seriously, and that the dangers involved felt real to them.
The way that X-Men 2 came about for us was kind of one of those experiences in Hollywood where things fell into place and everything happened at the right place at the right time, and it was all a lot of luck, a lot of really good luck, and being there and being equipped and able to do kind of the job.
We sold our first pitch together, which was to Phoenix Pictures for a horror film. And, you know, we wrote that, and just as we were kind of finishing that off, Brian came to us, and he was a friend of ours, and said, you know, listen, I need somebody to come in and work on X-Men 2. Would you guys be interested? And of course, the answer was an immediate yes. Being fans of the first film, you know, and fans of the X-Men in general, it was just an amazing opportunity. We were honored just to be asked.
I've had the blessing of some wonderfully talented and amazing writers who've wrote out the whole production with me and that I can constantly troubleshoot with, and all very dedicated to the process and to X-Men. And all, if they weren't fans going in, they're big fans coming out, just like me.
With Dan and I working together with Brian, it was much more working day and night together for months. I mean, every day, 12 hours a day, Saturdays, Sundays, pounding the crap out of the script and really working out the story and working out the characters together.
And then Brian is kind of the ultimate wizard in that way, because he's the guy who sees ideas and either, you know, adds that little magic touch to the end of it, or knows exactly how to shoot it and how to shape it so it will work perfectly.
X-Men 2 is a lot easier because now we've established the world and the characters. Of course, we have some information in there for people who haven't seen X-Men 1. We never take that for granted. But it was a lot easier to just take our characters that we've already established and create a story that they can follow.
The greatest challenge is each of our characters has unique powers. And so we want to explore each of those. And it's not like we develop one sort of effect and then repeat it a lot of times through the movie. Every power is different, and every page there's a new version of it, a new twist on it. And we want more action, we want more effects, we want to go deeper in the story. That's raising the bar for us.
I actually enjoyed going into this process because I could actually have fun with these characters, and I knew I had a little more time, a little more money, and a lot more understanding of the characters and the universe.
D-Mark, CNC cameras off speed. You set? Set.
Gary. 3, 2, 1, action!
A film is not like a book or a painting. A film is made by thousands of people, and I'm kind of a funnel through which all their talents pass. So in that sense, it can be called my vision, but it's really my vision of their visions.
It was critical that Brian and the cast and as many of the creative team came back as possible to build on the vocabulary we had, as well as go deeper and further into the characters and deliver more of the X-Men world. And we're very fortunate to have so many of the original team back together.
It's not always important to have the same filmmakers or even the same cast to move a universe forward or a franchise forward. But in certain cases, in the case of Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, and I also believe in this X-Men universe, consistency of the characters, these are characters you become fond of, and also a kind of storytelling that you become acquainted with. And by having the same cast and the same filmmaker, you're able to perpetuate that and maintain that continuity. And I think for this particular saga and for certain others, it can be vital.
Hugh Jackman is Wolverine, Halle Berry is Storm, and James Marsden is Cyclops. Just go down the line, and I think what we forget, once we get a little older, is how real these characters are to kids.
After I did X-Men 1, everyone asked me, has your life changed? And I was like, absolutely nothing has changed except professionally. I mean, I walk down the street, nobody notices who I am. I get on a bus, no problem. I mean, it's such a different, somehow that character and me, no one ever matches the two up. But now I've got this back on, I walk around the streets here in Vancouver, and a lot, I've noticed, Wolverine.
Guess what, my prescription?
Your prescription?
I'm signing off on Prozac here.
There you go. Hang on, I better put Dr. Hugh Jackman. There you go. Hey, cool, this is unique. Good luck. Good on you, pal. Good to see you, bud. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Do you want me to sign your yearbook? Sure. Okay. Oh, who's that like? Great going to school with you.
You autographed my hand.
In the past. I got my yearbook right there. You never know, right? Yeah. Someone will believe you. One day you'll go on a date with your girl and go, look who I went to school with. Thanks, man.
When I told my high school buddies that I was going to be Cyclops, they flipped out because they were all comic book freaks, and I'd never read the comics. So, you have this huge demographic of readers, people who read it when they were 13 years old in 1963, and you still have 13-year-olds reading the new comics now. So it's just it was a lot bigger fan base than I ever expected, and devoted.
When you take material that already exists and is much loved, I think that what's required is that there is an absolute seriousness about the quality of the original material, that you don't approach it ironically or with tongue-in-cheek.
There's a certain reason that it's around for 40 years and is the #1 comic book in